Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Ageless Energy Show. Today we're talking about stress, cortisol, and magnesium. So if that's you, sounds like you. So the reason I pick this topic is because a lot of people are dealing with stress. I've had a number of coaching calls today or this week, not today yet. And there's a lot of people struggling with stress. And then unfortunately, they're not seeing results because they have
Had a number of coaching calls today.
increased cortisol levels. Oh, thank you.
A lot of people struggling with stress, and then unfortunately, they're not seeing results.
My apologies. Increased cortisol levels equals, so increased stress equals increased cortisol levels, and that actually depletes your magnesium levels. Today we're going to dive in, and this topic is so apparent because, gosh, so many people are stressed out. And the problem is that unfortunately, you can do all the right things, and then that stress squashes everything. So you're following a meal plan, you're staying on track, you're exercising, but it's hormones. We can adjust them. And I want to say we can even control them. It's just that knowing the right ways to go about that and how to make that happen. And unfortunately, we're just not taking the right steps. And maybe that's part of, so there's a few things there. There's part of knowledge, and then there's part of structure. And see, the problem is that we don't have the systems set in our life. Like we need to have systems set up in our life that help us continually reduce stress. That's what a system is. It's a repeatable process. And we just don't implement those. So a lot of times people say, I don't exercise because I'm not motivated. And I would say that if you're only exercising when you're motivated, you're not going to be consistent ever because motivation is never high. Like it's not always high. Motivation spikes. It's a great idea to, once you're motivated, to ride the motivation wave. But when that drops, what happens? The only thing that takes place or takes precedence over that is a system that you don't need to keep thinking or keep implementing over and over again. It's so interesting because I am more and more interested in systems in particular, but if you set up something one time and you just repeat it, you don't have to worry about it again. That's part of, it's interesting, that's part of software, it's part of technology. It's like we run an online business, so it's part of what we do, but we also help our clients implement systems into their life on a regular basis. And that really is what makes the difference. And I actually really cool. I recently built an app. Never thought those words would come out of my mouth, but that is to implement systems in your life. Like these are the steps that you take on a regular basis to help you stay on track. You have to work the system, right? Like the system works for you if you work the system. It's not like you set something up and you never have to think about it again. That's not life. And when it comes to stress in particular, like we have regular stress in our lives. That's just it's the life we live. And it was probably always like that. Like it was probably like that for our grandparents and their grandparents. We just don't know. Like we don't know their stress levels. And now we live in a world where we're just continually stressed. Like we don't even know how stressed we are because that is our new level. Like that's our new normal. And we live in elevated stress levels, which means we live in elevated cortisol levels, which means that we feel like we're doing the right things, and maybe we are, but that elevated cortisol is like, not doing it. So what needs to happen is that a regular regiment in your day, like when you go to sleep, most people, I believe, and you wake up in the morning, Vanda, good morning, Ling. You wake up in the morning, and I believe most people have some type of routine. Maybe you brush your teeth. When you go to sleep, before bed, you brush your teeth. I think, I'd imagine. That's what we do. So there needs to be that consistency in those systems set up in your life so it's not really a thought process. Like, maybe I should ask our audience, I should poll. There's no judgment. Does anyone not brush their teeth twice a day? But for me, it's not really like a thought process. It's not, oh, I don't feel like brushing my teeth before bed. Like our whole family, we just do it. That's just what happens. But it's the same thing with our shakes. Like I pour our liquid magnesium in kombucha, vitamin D, K, and zinc, and that's it. That happens every single night, whether we're in a hotel, whether we're at home, whether we're at families. If we're at families, we pack it, right? Like this part of our system in the evening is setting up for the next morning. That's what we teach our clients. So you make your shake. We have a shake every single morning. We have our liquid mag that I just mentioned, and then we have our shake every single morning. That's before breakfast. So that is a system that we have set up in our life for us to see more success, because I don't want to wake up I'm usually up at 5 right now at this time in my life. Sometimes it's at 4, sometimes it's at 6, depending on what season. Right now I'm up at 5. I don't want to make eggs. I usually have eggs for breakfast. Like a mixture, I balance the macros. We'll get into that another time. I usually have some type of eggs. I don't want to cook eggs in the morning. I don't love hard-boiled eggs all the time. So I have a shake. Protein, first thing. No questions asked. Protein, creatine, collagen, maca, that all goes in my shake. And I drink that by 5:30, that's gone. Right? That is a system that we've created, but when it comes to stress and your cortisol levels, we need to implement regular systems in your life that help you reduce stress on a regular basis. So that could be, I don't know if there's anything profound. I'm not a big fan of all kinds of crazy tech stuff, or I don't know, you have the meditation halo bands and whatever it is. There's journaling, there's prayer, there's meditation, there's different types of breathing, there's yoga, there's stretching, there's dozens of things that you could do that would represent reducing stress in your life. We're just not doing it. But I guess my point is that you can do it once in a while, which is certainly helpful. But if you want to make real changes to reduce stress in your life, you would do that daily. So what happens is in our regular lifestyle, something stresses us out. Okay, and then we don't do anything about that stress. We usually bury it, push it away to the side. And then that continues to fester in our body, and then we get agitated and we take it out on our most loved ones. Most of you know what I'm talking about. And that stress, at least to me, that stress builds up internally. And I feel like that's why we have issues, whether that's injuries or major dis-ease on our body. I feel like that is the very root of some type of stress that we've never addressed. So it's the same thing. We're doing a lot of work right now around limiting beliefs. And it's so eye-opening. It's incredible to look at your limiting beliefs and how they formed your reality. And if you dig deep enough and if you actually put in the work, you can look back and you can be like, oh my gosh, this conversation has caused me to believe this 20 years later. This, let's just call it trauma, this type of trauma, whether you were embarrassed by a loved one, authoritative figure, and because of that situation, you have a limiting belief around finances, relationships, whatever it is, right? But those limiting beliefs have manifest or show themselves in your life now as an adult, and it could have been 30, 40, 60 years ago. It's just never been addressed. It's the same thing with stress, is that we let these little things build up in our bodies, and then what happens is our cortisol level internally increases and we don't see it. We're like, I'm not really stressed out. But we all have many different stressors in our life that we've never really addressed. But if you could take some time on a regular basis to reduce those stress levels, then your cortisol levels continually reduce stress. And then on top of that is you can start releasing, the stress that has built up. Your cortisol levels now level out, and now we start to what we call balancing our hormones, right? And then that's when we see a lot of women, they start to sleep better, they start to burn body fat, their metabolism increases. When we're in a stressful state, and I would say like stressful, high cortisol levels, we're in that fight or flight state of being. So everything triggers us. And like you could look at things that continually cause those triggers, like social media is a big one. Some, like most people just sit there and scroll through the news feed, and they don't neurologically understand what's going on. Like they're actually looking for triggers or emotional points to stop and to read more about. Like mass media is a big one. Like they thrive on keeping you emotional, like in emotional state. And you can take that for what it's worth. It could be a very negative emotional state. It could be that fear, like being in a fear state, which is what I believe they really thrive on. And it could be a happy state. Usually in most cases, it's like the smallest snippet of, oh, that's a cute little puppy. Does anyone want to take this puppy home? And then it's back to fear, right? But that is our system. And like we're very attracted to that emotion. But that emotion is what causes our levels to be like so emotional and so triggered. So if you're a type of person that gets mad like instantly, there's a lot of stuff going on internally. It could be your spouse, it could be your kids, unfortunately, that have those short triggers. And that's because of the heightened fight or flight, elevated cortisol levels that's causing your body to be in that like constant. Well, the opposite would that be is a very relaxed state of being where like someone gives you news or you have a very neutral type of energy. You can more easily handle negative energy, not so high, not so low. We have a couple of ladies in here. Good morning, Mom. Good morning, Charlene. So, at any rate, one of the things that you can do is add magnesium to your daily regimen. So magnesium, when your cortisol levels go up, your body actually uses more magnesium. So magnesium is actually naturally occurring in our body. The problem is that we don't get enough of it. We used to get it from soil. Like the soil went into the food and then we would consume the food. And now, I think most of us know, we have very little, we have nutrient depletion, soil erosion. We have very little nutrients in food. You have to buy the highest quality food, and most people can hardly afford their groceries regularly now. Anyways, so that's the lowest quality of food, unfortunately. I'm only laughing because I'd be crying otherwise. But we just don't get enough magnesium into our bodies. And especially if you're a high stress person, like we all know them. Some of you may be watching, some of you may have friends or family members that are high stress. They hear any news and they fly off the handle. They may have high anxiety. They just don't process news or information very well. Those types of people should really stay away from the news. But some calls to action that I would suggest is paying attention to what triggers you or what are triggers for you. And it's difficult because so many people are in that heightened state, they don't really know. But if you start to be conscious and start to pay attention to what actually bothers you, like maybe you stop watching the news, or maybe you stop watching it 3 times a day. Maybe you start unfollowing people on social media, or maybe you start spending less time on social media. There's a couple things, those are a couple short things, like people in your life that cause you stress. It'd be a good idea to distance yourself from them. When it comes to the action steps that you could take to help reduce those stress levels, think about some of the things that you can do on a regular basis. Can you get up and go for a walk in the morning to help reduce stress levels? You probably could if you really wanted to. And then I understand that some of you are living in a colder climate. A lot of ladies in the colder climates tell me they're worried about the ice or they've slipped on the ice. So in that case, find something different. It could be a morning prayer or meditation. It could be a stretching or a yoga. It could be just sitting in deep breathing, looking to relaxing music. So listening to. I think I said looking. So those are a few things. And then paying attention to your food. I'm a big fan of food in particular, and then like proper supplementation. Like I feel that if you're not supplementing, you don't have enough magnesium in your body. So there's a couple of magnesiums that might be of interest. Mag10 is magnesium 3 and 8. That one in particular is the only magnesium that can break the blood-brain barrier. Now, unfortunately, most people just go to the pharmacy and grab the cheapest magnesium on the shelf because they don't know any different. And then there's different types or different forms of magnesium, and they all do different things. So one of the things that we can offer you is a free cheat sheet of the ingredients that we recommend you staying away from. I just read this very alarming, I don't know, information doc from a well-known source of the dangers of maltodextrin and how it's damaging at the cellular level to the body. I would probably say at least 75% of supplements have maltodextrin in them. And then you have your silicon dioxide, your propylene glycol, a number of different ingredients that are harmful to your body. So try not to go grab the cheapest one off the shelf because you watched the show and you heard that you should grab some pills, or your doctor. I talked to this lady and she was interested in magnesium. Her doctor told her she should have this magnesium. I don't think he subscribed, but he recommended this type, and I looked at it and it was junk. That's really difficult because I'm not going to get into the whole doctor thing today, but it's important to do your own research. If you want the PDF, just comment below, I'll send it over, but you should know the quality and what's actually going into your body, and you find the cleanest sources possible. We look at our magnesium threonate, it only has one single ingredient. It has no taste, it has no flavor, it has no smell. It dissolves almost instantly in the water. You can add it to a shake, you can add it to a smoothie, you can add in your water, your kombucha, and drink that in the morning or in the evening. What's really nice about Magtin in particular is that because it can break the blood-brain barrier, it can actually help your brain and your mind relax. I talked to someone this week that they said they don't sleep very well because their mind is always going. That could help, along with a number of other things. If you exercise, your mind tends to relax. If you're eating better quality foods, staying away from processed food and refined sugar, that goes right to our brain. Like sugar's a drug, right? We're highly addicted to sugar. So you start to reduce sugar in your life, you start to sleep better. So these are all steps, or all different layers of things that you can do to help improve your life as a whole. But when it comes to burning, like you want to burn body fat, right? We have to look at our cortisol levels. If you have a high stress life, which is most people, like we seem to thrive off a full calendar and I'm so busy and I have all these appointments. I would prefer the opposite. I don't have any appointments today. So I'm going to relax with my family because that's what I love to do. And it could be something simple. You could have breakfast with your family. I really love to play with we wrestle a little bit. We throw stuffies, and it's like a game. It's like a fort. That's very relaxing to me. It's medicinal. It's the best thing I could do in a day to reduce my stress levels. But certainly paying attention to what you're putting in your body, from supplementation to nutrients to pharmaceuticals, like they all take their toll in different ways. And I feel like many of us will have a layer of what our baseline of what our day looks like. So this is the type of food that we put in our body, and that's our baseline. We don't really know any different because it's so normal. These are the type of supplements we take, or lack thereof. So it could be a lower level of zero supplements. It could be very cheap supplements. It could be better quality supplements. Like every part, your nutrition, your fitness, like exercise. Sometimes people will go out and they'll go for a walk, which is great. That would be, well, some people don't walk at all. Let's just say that would be the lowest level. And then some people would go out for a walk. And then maybe you level up and you go for a walk and a stretch. And then once you start to feel a little bit better, you put in a little bit of a workout. You start to move your body so you can fight sarcopenia. You're losing your muscle mass. You have osteoporosis and arthritis, mostly because you're not moving and the rancid oils we're putting in our body. So of course there's a lot to it, but consider adding magnesium threonate. Read the ingredients. You can find ours at trueformlife.com if you want to try it. And then the other one is our liquid magnesium. It's one of our best sellers. It's one of the cleanest products you'll find on the market. And we have 3 different magnesiums in it. One of them is magnesium threonate. We have glycinate and magnesium chloride. That one is for aches and pains in your body. But we start off with liquid magnesium every morning to start our day. It's almost like a multivitamin-ish type of product, and that helps with digestion. So when it comes to magnesium in particular, I'll just end with this. Give me about 5 minutes or less. Magnesium in particular, has over 300 enzymatic functions. So magnesium I see as almost as an adaptogen, not a true adaptogen like a maca, but if you look at magnesium, because it has so many benefits, most people find something unique to them. And I'll tell you the four main reasons that women use our magnesium is because of sleep, chronic pain, digestion, and energy. So if you're lacking in those, this could certainly help fill in the gaps. Use supplements as a supplement to your lifestyle. Don't supplement as a replacement for food or as a replacement for, I'm not, I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking about protein, but you would use a protein powder as a replacement for lack of protein. So maybe I'm just contradicting myself. But for the magnesium in particular, there's a number of different areas where you'll find the benefit because everyone's different, right? So if you in particular are lacking sleep, you'll find that magnesium will help with sleep. If you find you have digestion issues, constipation, gas, bloating, acid reflux, you'll probably see that the magnesium helps your digestion more particularly than someone that doesn't have digestion issues. It's very versatile and helps out in different ways. For ours, I would suggest starting out with a teaspoon and then slowly working over a few weeks, take it every morning, and then working your way up to a tablespoon. And what's nice about nutraceuticals is that the longer you take them and the more consistent you are with them, they compound and they actually fill your stores. Like we have magnesium stores. So the longer you take magnesium, the more they fill up and the more benefits. A little bit different than a pharmaceutical. A lot of times people compare the two. It's apples to oranges. Because you take a pharmaceutical for a particular reason, like an antibiotic, and it has a shelf life, or you take it for 10 days and then you're done with it. With natural supplements, you take them, the longer you take them, the more benefits that you see, including the more consistent you are. And then usually with natural supplements, you don't take your protein powder, and because you get a benefit from the protein powder, and then you have a detriment from the protein powder, you got to take another supplement. Anyone know what I'm talking about? In most cases, I'll just be direct. When you take a pharmaceutical, there's benefit, let's say 90% benefit and 10% detriment. But because of that detriment, you have a side effect, right? So you have to take another pharmaceutical. So you got another 80%, 90% helpful, and then 10, 20% detrimental. So before you know it, you're taking 2, 3, 4, 5 different medications just to supplement or help with the medications that are causing the side effects. I'm not a doctor and I don't pretend to be one online, but I certainly lean towards natural supplements. That's what I would certainly start with, is making sure that you are living as stress-free life as possible, and then implementing ways to reduce stress levels. And that includes some of those things that I mentioned, from exercise to nutrition to proper supplementation. And that's how you're going to actually see results. So we specialize in helping women 40 plus increase energy, burn body fat, and balance hormones. That's how you can start reducing stress in your life and finally start seeing results, because your cortisol levels aren't through the roof. We have a community on School. It's called Sovereign Strength. If you're not in that group, you're more than welcome to join us. Drop a comment below and we'll send you a link. But otherwise, we have the PDF we can send over for better quality natural supplements, if that's helpful. And otherwise, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for joining. Thanks for hanging out with me. And any questions at all, we're only a message away. Take care, everyone.